Okay, let's take a quick look at, and this video can be in several parts, what the SAT looks like, an overview. Then I'm going to get into looking at one of the sections, what the SAT writing and language section looks like specifically for this particular video. Okay, so overall, I'm going to hide myself here because you don't need me anymore. Words in context, command of evidence. By the way, I'll post this for people to be able to see. Is where we're looking at evidence-based reading and writing. It's all part of the evidence-based reading and writing, and the writing language portion comprises the evidence-based reading and writing comprises the reading and writing language portion. We're looking at the writing and language portion. Writing and language portion. The words in context, writing and language test. Again, context clues, precisions, looking at concision or concise writing. Again, the general goal: concise writing, precise writing, appropriateness of expression, word choice, context clues to figure out the meaning of a word, retaining, adding, revising, or deleting information, interpreting graphics sometimes. These are selected response questions only, these that count. There are no actual writing goes into these as far as scoring them. So, like for example, some questions ask about the passage's organization, its impact. For instance, you'll ask which words or structural changes prove how well it makes its point and how well sentences and paragraphs work together. So, if I come over here to a sample passage, and this is one you may have been familiar with. All of the SAT passages are available on Classroom and also on the SAT website on the Classroom page that you see that you have access to through this video. Here is an example of something that you have that is an expression of ideas, connecting idea. Writers consider revising the underlined portion of the sentence to read West inspiring books. Should the writer add this information here? A yes, yes, no, no question. And it refers to, number 22 right there. So, and how do we approach the SAT writing language? Look at the questions first. So on this side, and then read the sentence, the underlying portion that contains if necessary. Read the underlying portion that it references, and if necessary, the sentences around it. Respond. Try various answer choices to see if it makes sense. Eliminate those that don't work. Okay, I've gone through this process with these, and I'm going to talk about these in a subsequent video. Rhetorical type questions are the ones I just talked about. And if you're not sure about those, like which choice most logically follows the previous sentence. So in other words, putting sentences and ideas together. Those need to be done a little bit. Those can be saved for last. So again, ready, look at the questions, underline portion first. Don't just start reading. And then you might be able to start reading a little bit. Like for example, let's look at this particular first passage. Employers are happier, so you could start looking at it, but then you want to look at the questions and how they connect and make sense. And the last thing I want to reference, I want to look at 35 minutes, 44 questions. So for this portion, I want to talk about timing. Timing is a question of, you have 4 passages, 4, count them, and you have about 8.5 minutes per passage. So you want to make sure you pace yourself appropriately. Thinking about, so if I go through this first one, numbers 1 through 11, I want to be able to make sure that I've appropriately paced myself so that I can finish the whole test. If I have to take a guess on some of them, that's fine, but I don't want to get down to having no time left and then get down to the very last passage and have hardly any time left. I want to be able to go through the easier questions first and then be able to guess on the harder ones.